All right, guys, so welcome back to the weekly recap. This is week number 2, the week of the 14th through today, the 18th. And just to give you guys a refresher on what this is, it's essentially just a recap of this week's financial literacy related news and just stuff that I feel is going to be relevant to you guys, to college students, and beneficial resources that I've come across in the last week, and additionally just what I've been up to in the last week. And I have been up to quite a bit, so I think this is going to be a pretty interesting episode. If you guys are at all interested in what I'm doing. If you're not, then maybe not so much, but we'll see. Also, feel free to let me know in the chat. If you're watching, let me know what's up. Ask me some questions, because I will be responding to questions as well in this stream. So first things first, I just want to talk about, on Sunday, I'm going to be doing another stream. So 2 streams in 1 week, whoop-de-doo. And Sunday's stream is going to be pretty interesting. I'm thinking of trying out some new things. So an experimental stream on Sunday. Be sure to tune in for that. I'm thinking somewhere around noon Central Time. But I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on Instagram with what I decide to do there. Additionally, this week, actually on Tuesday, so this coming Tuesday, I don't know what the date is, I think it's like the 22nd, I'm going to be launching my podcast. So that's going to be, it's called Young Smart Money, and it's essentially deeper dives into some of the same topics that I'm going to be covering on the channel. So stuff like, credit cards, investing, budgeting, stuff like that, just relevant topics for college students, stuff that's really going to give you a leg up in the financial game as a young person. So that's what that's going to be all about. Additionally, I'm going to have guests on there who are young people who are killing it, doing some cool stuff that I think would be cool to share with you guys. I've got my first interview type conversation thing coming up this week. I'm going to record that and put it out at some point, and those episodes are going to be going live every Tuesday. This Tuesday, the 22nd, there's going to be 3 that go up when it launches. And then each week thereafter, there's going to be 1 episode each Tuesday. Might throw in some bonus episodes, some like shorter ones in between, just for fun if I'm feeling like it. But expect one of those every Tuesday. Those will be available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Podcasts. They'll also be up on YouTube as well. So you'll be able to find those pretty much anywhere that podcasts are. Also on Stitcher. I think that's most of like the big ones. If there's any big podcast places I missed, let me know, and I'll get it up there as well. So I'm really excited about that. That's really been a long time in the works, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedback and support on the parts of episodes that I've shared with people so far. Did some beta testing here and there, and I've gotten some pretty good feedback, so I'm really excited to share that with you guys. I think it's going to provide a ton of value, and the first 2 episodes especially, the ones that are going to be airing on Tuesday, one is just like an introduction to the show, to me, and what it's all about. The second one is all about credit scores, so just how to improve your credit score, what a credit score is made up of, why credit scores are important, stuff like that. And the third one is on, what's it on? I can't even remember at this point, but it's really cool, I can assure you that. So that is Young Smart Money. That'll be on youngsmartmoney.com or applecredit.com/podcast, or you can find it on iTunes, whatever, all those places that I just mentioned before. So I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to provide a ton of value to people. So yeah, be sure to check that out. Also, if you're watching in the stream, give me some love. Let me know what's up. Shoot me a comment or something so I can shout you out. That would be super cool, because I can see there's a few of you on here. Okay, so that was the podcast. So we've got a cool stream coming on Sunday. We have got a podcast launching on Tuesday. We have got an Instagram that actually just launched. I think it was 2 days ago I opened my Instagram. So now I'm there trying to get hip with the youngsters these days, get on Instagram, because apparently that's where everything's happening. And already it's been a ton more effective than Facebook. I have a Facebook page as well. And that really just wasn't taking off, wasn't really getting a lot of impressions there, any feedback or anything. So I thought I would reach out to Instagram, see what's going on over there. And it's been a lot better. I can tell you I'm still learning about how to find effective hashtags, but it's a really good platform so far, in my opinion. I'm really getting a lot out of Instagram, I think. I like the stories as well. I think that's good to be more real with people and to get more of a, just a real rather than sort of creating and curating content like I currently do, being more real and just sort of documenting what I'm doing. I think it's more effective, a different approach that I think is pretty cool that's available with Instagram. Sorry I'm drinking so much. I'm like pretty sick. I don't know how I can be sick in the summer, but you know, my immune system is just complete crap. Okay, so the Instagram, what's that going to be about? So far it's got some motivational quotes, some inspirational stuff, entrepreneurship related content, and just sort of personal stuff, like I was saying, more real stuff about my own life, just to prove to you that I'm an actual human being and not just some guy that just sits around all day and makes YouTube videos. I do actually have a life outside of YouTube, believe it or not. So I will just be documenting lots of cool stuff like that. And I think Instagram is just a really cool platform in general. I'm really excited to learn more about the platform and how to use it most effectively, really. Oh yeah, and you can find me at Official Apple Creator. So yeah, just at Official Apple Creator is my account, is my handle, whatever. So find me there, give me a follow, boost my self-esteem. That would be really cool. And yeah, leave a like, leave some comments on my posts. I would really appreciate that as well. Always looking for feedback. So if you've got any interesting feedback on anything that I'm doing, be sure to let me know as well. Now, this week I also actually read 2 books, well, 1.5. I'm almost done with the second book, but the 2 books that I've been reading this week, the first one that I read was this guy right here, so Unshakeable by Tony Robbins. And as you can see, I got a lot of flags in here and stuff, so I got a lot of cool stuff out of this book, but if you just want like a brief rundown of what Unshakeable is all about, essentially, it's about investing, and the thesis of the book is really don't try to outperform the market. That's basically the thesis of the book. And the reason is because, as Tony Robbins says, you're 9 times out of 10, not 9 million times out of whatever, you're no Warren Buffett. You're not going to outperform the market consistently. So your best bet is really just to try to follow the market and to buy low-cost index funds and yeah, just not act out of fear, but instead just act rationally. And I mean, obviously that's a lot easier said than done, but the book does provide some really valuable information, strategies, stuff like that related to how to invest and how to make consistent returns in the stock market. So if you're at all interested in that, be sure to check this book out. If you do want to support me and the channel at all, you could find this book through applecreator.com/Amazon. And that would take you right to Amazon.com, where you could find this book, and then I get a small commission from anything that I refer through that link. So again, that's applecreator.com/Amazon to check out Unshakeable. I've been meaning to read this book for a long time. It was referred to me by, among other people, Ryan Scribner. I think Nate O'Brien's mentioned it a couple times. So I just heard good things about it. And yeah, so I decided to read it. I got some good takeaways from it. And yeah, essentially just the thesis is do something. Don't just not invest because you're scared, because you're uncertain, because you don't know what's going to come in the future of the stock market. Nobody does. So don't decide not to invest, because that's the worst decision you can make, because that ensures you're going to lose, your money's going to be losing value to inflation year after year. So you got to be in the market, but you also got to be in the market smartly. So don't sell out of fear. Don't buy out of greed. Stuff like that. Pretty straightforward, but there are some good strategies in there and some good mindset things in there as well. So I would say it's a good book to read. I'd say it's worth the read, especially I got it from the library, so I mean it's free. So I say why not? The next book that I read was, or I guess I'm almost done with this book. I'm like 3/4 of the way done. It's called The One Thing. It is by, who's it by? Gary Keller. Oh yeah, this one was by Tony Robbins, if I didn't mention that. Unshakeable is by Tony Robbins. The One Thing is by Gary Keller. And this book, I'm getting a ton out of this book, because in my own business, in my own life, I find I am very easily distracted by like shiny objects. So by shiny objects, I just mean like, I want to do everything. Like I got a YouTube channel, I have a blog, I started a podcast, like all of these things. I want to do everything. And that's good because it's getting my name out there and I'm doing a lot of fun stuff that I'm really enjoying. But it's tricky to keep all of this stuff going, keep all of it effective, and keep myself from burning out. So this book has been really, really beneficial for me because it's all about focusing in and honing in on the one thing that you do best and the one thing that is going to be most effective in driving you forward towards your goals. So I'm really getting a lot out of this book. I'm not very good at setting goals or even having priorities in general. I really just sort of, I don't even know. I just do whatever is the shiniest, really. But this book's really helping me hone in on what is actually going to be the most beneficial for me in any given moment, and to focus in on that and to make sure I get the important stuff done. And then after that, focusing on everything else, that sort of the mundane things should come after the important things. So like making videos is like my one thing, and just getting financial information out to you guys, that's my one thing. But so that should be my top priority. That should be the number one thing that I focus on every single day, at least every single day that I plan to work. Because the book also talks about putting yourself completely into whatever you're doing. So when you work, like work hard, but when you're not working, don't work. Like completely unplug, and don't half-ass anything. Like put yourself completely into whatever you're doing, and don't try to do 20 things at once. It also talks about multitasking and how that's just complete bullshit, and how people can't actually multitask. But I mean, everybody already knows that. And people who try to multitask just end up doing nothing well. They try to do 5 things and they end up doing nothing well. Oh, hey Sam. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't make. Perfect. Somebody actually said something in one of my streams. Wow, what a good day. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Sam. I really do appreciate that. So yeah, that's the one thing, and it's pretty much, yeah, it's just about focusing in on your one thing, finding your one thing, setting your priorities, having a purpose in life. And it's been really beneficial to me, really inspirational. This, in combination with pretty much everything that Gary Vaynerchuk puts out, all of his like Ask Gary V, that whole show, I eat that stuff up so much. And that and this book have been like my driving inspirations for the last week. Just if you haven't checked out Gary V yet, I'll link it up in the description or something. But Ask Gary V, it's the show where people can call in and ask this dude Gary Vaynerchuk. He's like 40 years old. He's this like ridiculous entrepreneur who's got like so much energy, and he just like tells it to people straight. So I really get a lot out of the stuff that he puts out. So yeah, those are the 2 books I read. Be sure to check those out on applecredit.com/Amazon if you want to support the channel at all. Or if you want to buy anything on Amazon, just hit up applecredit.com/Amazon. And lastly, I've got this story that was brought to my attention by Graham Stephan. He is another YouTube creator. Focuses more on real estate, but he's also about, he also does stuff with credit cards and just personal finance skills. And he made this video about this 96-year-old secretary who was able to basically amass a fortune of $9 million working with a pretty reasonable income. Like, she wasn't making like 6 figures or anything. But over time, through investing consistently, and basically what she did was her boss told her to make investments for him, and he would say, all right, invest my money in this, this, and this. And whenever she did that, she would also invest a much smaller portion of her own money into these same assets that he was buying in order to sort of mimic what a successful person was doing. And over time, she was able to amass like $9 million. And at her death, she actually donated about $8.2 million of that. She lived a very frugal life, lived much below her means. I mean, she had $9 million, and she definitely wasn't flaunting it and buying, I don't know, a Rolls Royce and like Supreme. But I don't know, I thought that was really cool. And it's definitely not the only example of people being able to amass a very significant amount of money on a very humble income. And I don't know, I got a lot out of this article. It's on the New York Times. I'll link it up in the description. Because I think it really does show it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep, as Robert Kiyosaki said in Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I just think that's so true. Like, if you can make $100,000 every single year, you can make $1 million every single year, and if you spend all that money, you're still paycheck to paycheck. Like, I don't know if people comprehend that, but it really doesn't matter how much money you make. I mean, 78% of the US population is paycheck to paycheck, and all that means is they're spending how much money they're taking in. And that can happen with any income. You can be paycheck to paycheck on 30 grand a year. You can be paycheck to paycheck on 30 million a year. It really doesn't matter. And it really is about how much money you keep, how much money you pay yourself, how much money you invest. That's really what's going to dictate how much wealth you end up with. At least in my opinion, that's the way I see the world. But again, let me know in the comments below if you disagree with that at all. So yeah, that was pretty much the weekly recap. I've got a cool, just to recap the recap, I've got a cool stream coming on Sunday. Be sure to tune in for that. It's going to be a bit experimental. So we'll see how it goes, probably about around noon Central Standard Time. I am launching my podcast, Young Smart Money, on Tuesday the 22nd. 3 episodes will be out on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. And be sure to leave me a review on those as well. That really does help out podcasts that are just starting out. Because iTunes really does favor those that do have those reviews. So be sure to leave a review once you check that out. Again, launched an Instagram this week. It's at Official Apple Creator. I'll link that up in the description down below. At Official Apple Creator for motivational, inspirational, entrepreneurial, and just sort of a personal side, sort of just documentation of what I'm up to rather than the curated stuff and the really created stuff that I put on YouTube. This week, I read The One Thing and Unshakeable. So be sure to check those books out over at applecreator.com/Amazon. It'll take you right to Amazon. And any purchases that you make will provide a small commission to this channel. They go right back in to making these videos even higher quality. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the weekly recap, guys. I really do appreciate you guys sticking around. And I'll link up everything that I mentioned in the description below. Anyways, guys, yeah, thank you very much for sticking around. I'll see you guys in the next one.